Hi guys, good morning, good morning, good morning. Piotr here, and this is the pre-London Open Market preview. It's 12th of March 2019. It's few seconds past 8 CET time, so it's time to make this pre-London Open Market preview. Let's start with risk warning, guys. Please bear in mind trading on FX. Trading, especially FX on margin, carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors. You can sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investments, so please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Okay, we are going to start a little bit different today. We are going to check the dollar index from the higher time frame perspective, and there you go. We have a weekly chart over here. Let's zoom in a bit. All right, so being long dollar is still one of the most popular trades around. It's not crowded yet, I would say, but anyway, that's the possible supply. All right, created at the very beginning of the May 2017 based on the weekly chart. That's the possible supply zone on the dollar index over here. All right, and there is a, as you can see over here, there is still a little bit of space. That's the 98.50-100 zone, all right? Especially the psychological 100 level may work very well as a magnet. So theoretically we still got the chance to see the bulls trying to fight with this 100 level. Anyway, what happened over the course of last week, especially on Friday, we had a strong dollar. I would say the main reason was the weak euro, and we know that euro dollar is the heaviest cross within the dollar index, in the dollar basket. We saw the strong rally on the dollar side on Thursday. Then Friday, during the whole Friday, there was a profit-taking round. And there is a first warning sign from the short-term perspective for dollar bulls, all right? What I'm talking about here is this, upper shadow over here. Nothing extraordinary, someone may say, all right? But the place is a very logical, right? We have something similar over here, we have something similar over here. So it looks like we were trying to hit some stops, but the weekly close, and that's the thing, and the weekly close wasn't the highest within this consolidation here we've seen within the last quarter of 2018, all right? So this upper shadow, some supply over here, all right? Where is the demand in that case for dollar based on the weekly chart? And that's the possible demand, all right? So 96.80, 96.60, that's the possible demand, the first possible demand on the dollar index. Otherwise, if we are gonna to break through that level, then the bottom of this consolidation, we are talking about again about 95.50 and 94.80 on dollar index. Let's have a look what we have on a smaller time frame. And there you go, it's better visible over here. Oh, sorry. All right. That's the key level today. All right. So the Thursday range. All right. We are still within the Thursday range. We have a strong move on Thursday, and that's what we discussed a second ago based on the weekly. Stop hunting on Thursday, all right, and then the round of the profit taking Friday and yesterday. Now, the bottom daily open from Thursday looks like it's a key level, and in that case we are talking about something around 96.80, so it corresponds with weekly 96.80, 96.60, taking into the consideration this small break here, right? So the high and open from 22nd of February as a demand as well, right? Then what we have seen, attempt to break lower from that consolidation, right? So the next zone, possible demand zone, is around here where we saw the weakness last time, and we are talking about levels slightly below 96. That's how it looks from the dollar perspective. Trying to summarize this: the bottom, the daily open from Thursday as a key important level for both bulls and bears. So watching very carefully, especially daily close. That might be some kind of the line in the sand over here. So let's get back to MT4. All right, and we are gonna to go through a few crosses, but before, let's have a look what we have in the on the agenda today. Of course, there is a UK Parliament Brexit vote, and if we are talking about this, about the pound, looks like the sky is the limit for bulls. There are a few developments. One of the thing is that yesterday May's trip results, I mean, she gets the verbal guarantees on backstop, right? Another thing, in that case, I'm not sure if it's positive, and I'm gonna to explain in a second. Let me provide it to you. Where is it? Oh, I got it here. 1 second. All right, that's from the Times, most probably. 1 second. Okay, and that's the source, the Times, yes. Looks like the guys from the Brussels, they are planning for year-long extension, right? So that's what the diplomats are saying around. And now, why I don't see as positive for pound? Because taking into consideration few latest Carney speeches, and in terms of the rate hiking, Carney said that he needs to get the clear Brexit rules, right? In that case, pound, once everything is settled, pound may try to catch up and to be the long trade in relation to the rate hike expectations. If we are gonna to extend year, 5 years, 10 years, Brexit never going to happen, second referendum, stuff like this, So in my opinion, a lot of uncertainties around, and that's gonna be tough for pound to catch up with this rate hike expectation and trying to move higher based on that. Anyway, pound looks good. Within the 1 day move, we engulf Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday of the last week, and today during the Tokyo session we hit previous week high. All right, we have some pullback here. All right, but if you remember our meeting yesterday, we were covering from the higher time frame, blue color weekly. We were covering why we may found support over here, and it happened, right? The last place where we saw the weakness on the pound. So there was a rally. So now let's switch to the lower time frame. Now where we are and what might be the trade opportunity. All right. So that's here over here, the place where we saw the weakness, and it's all about this possible demand. We saw break to the downside, attempt to the break to the downside. We saw more manipulation, more stop hunting last week, all right, and yesterday right after the market open, and strong rally European and New York session, all right. So this last weakness over here as a possible demand, and that looks good even from the Riley based Riley formation, right? We have something similar over here, all right, and one can argue, hey Piotr, but that's also the weakness we've seen over here. Yeah, that's true, but this weakness hit this demand over here to the left side, and we saw bounce, right? That was the weakness where we took out this possible demand zone. Once we get back here, 1 hour consolidation and continuation to the upside. So in that case, I'm much more interested in this zone right under the 131 on the British pound. Okay. There is nothing special on the options market side in relation to the British pound. So from the intraday perspective, I'm gonna to watch the zone right under the 31. I'm not necessarily looking to sell the Rileys, at least for now. Maybe if we are gonna to get some rumors, leaks, more information, maybe going back into this vote in the British Parliament later today. The latest it's gonna to happen, the bigger the volatility might be, all right? Less liquidity on the market, so guys, be careful. And you know, sometimes it's better to see the move first than to trying to be ahead of the move, because we might be on the wrong side. And especially with this type of the event, big event, not good part of the day, lower liquidity, so some gaps possible over here. What might be the so let's say what might be the target if there is any long play? I would be very careful. There is this rejection over here is related to what we've seen what we've seen late February, beginning of the March over here, and that's for sure supply is around the corner, around 33, because just as the reminder, we are going back to the monthly chart for a second, and just as a reminder, in February we took out some stops, all right, we had this upper shadow and we started on the weaker side month of the March, right? So in that case we can add one more line here, and that's the, yeah, we have to change the color to the red one because it's a monthly chart. And what was the monthly open? 32.61, 32.61. All right, so that's the monthly open, and I would watch out for that level. So as you can see, the bulls made the long journey from the lowest low of the March, and we hit the monthly open, and looks like supply at least trying to be active here. Anyway, in case of the attempt to break, maybe not attempt, I'm sorry, in case we are gonna to break 33.40, I would watch out for 35. Let's get back to the monthly. I would watch out for the next red line related to the monthly chart. It's at 35. If we are gonna to take out 35, then bottom of this consolidation over here, right, might be in play, and in that case we are talking about 137 on the British pound. All right, so I would be very, very careful for now trying to sell. You know what, if there are gonna be specific price action right after the London Open or around the London Open, so from the intraday perspective, that might be the opportunity trying to short it, but watch out the bottom of this early candle, right? It might be attempt to the break lower here, so that might open the way towards our levels, our possible buying zone right below 131 on the pound. Yeah, I'm not that convinced to sell the pound. Anyway, that's how it looks from the pound perspective. So looking for a lower levels to try to establish intraday or maybe swing longs. All right. Cool. Now, euro dollar. That looks interesting more and more. All right, as we are approaching another possible supply levels. But first, what's going on the option side? And yeah, looks like it's quite interesting. We do have in between 12, 1185, 2.5 billion almost. That's quite nice, right? Then 1225 and 1225 represents the weekly open over here, right? So we have at the psychological level, and right below we have almost 2.5 billion. At the weekly open 1225 we have again almost 2.5 billion. So today that might work nicely towards the option expiration. Just the reminder, especially if you are in Europe, reminder about what we had last weekend in US. There was a time shift, so you know it's still option expiration 10 a.m. New York, but if you are in Europe, let's say you are in Germany, so instead of 4 p.m. CET, it's 3 p.m. CET for now. All right. Then we have around current level, we have 1.4 billion, and to be honest with you, upside is open. We have less than 1 billion at 113. So what we may see attempt to go a little bit lower, retest the weekly open, maybe retest 12 psychological level, and trying to rally back higher. And now that's what we discussed yesterday. Pre-ECB high, so means Thursday open, Thursday high as a key levels, all right? Because right now it's a wave of profit taking, but we are still within the Thursday range. So in that case, bears are still safe, right? And most probably, from the bears perspective, they may, from the higher time frame, they may wait, around this Thursday open, Thursday high, pre-ECB levels, right? Intraday, very interesting. That's what we discussed yesterday as well. Few levels, and if you were listening carefully yesterday, you should have trying to test what we are talking about on the demo account. You should have quite a good day, especially that we were talking about some gap closing. And there was a reaction on both. Of course, the late one was hard to follow from my perspective, because for me it was time to get some rest, right? In the middle of the night, I mean the Tokyo Open. But this one, right after the London Open, right, when we were closing this gap, that was nice retracement back to weekly open, and then we had some possible demand, especially based on this weakness over here. We hit some stops, Tokyo low, stops were taken out, hit demand, rally back, right? So it, of course, it's not gonna happen every day that it's like within the clear instruction, buying low, selling high, but if it's happened during the days like yesterday, that's the opportunity from the intraday perspective. So, but that's the past, right? It happened yesterday. Now we have to figure it out. What may happen today, and it might be that euro will try to follow the pound, right? So if we are gonna to see strong pound rally, it might be that the euro will try to catch up and try to hit another stops and try to approach this pre-ECB levels, right? And for now, I would be very careful calling that we are going to break and see higher levels. Also, I post the euro dollar chart on the trading view, and I see chances for higher levels, but only when we see the close above the daily close above the pre-ECB levels. That might open and might create another wave of profit taking. Some weakest shorts might be squeezed. So yeah, let's see. For now, this pre-ECB level. So how I wanna try to join this market today during the London session. So again, let's have a look what we have. Let's try to switch to the smaller time frame. It should be better visible. All right, there you go. So I'm looking for something similar we saw yesterday. All right. So from the demand perspective, so trying to establish longs. If that's the for now. If that's the Tokyo range, all right. So I'm looking for this low to be taken out, right? So what I'm looking, first scenario, what I'm looking for is that we are gonna to hit and clean the stops, same what we saw yesterday, right? Same what we saw yesterday. And if that's gonna happen, the first possible intraday demand is visible here, around 12.45, 12.35, right? So I'm gonna to watch price action around this level. One more thing is that I may take the yesterday range into the consideration, and yeah, 50% of the yesterday range. So what I may look for is this yesterday Tokyo weakness over here. That might be the 50% of the yesterday range, right? So 45.35, eventually this one. So that's something around 32. So that's from the more aggressive approach, right? Conservative, we may want to see retest of the weekly open, and based on what we have on the option market side, yeah, it might be the case that we are gonna to retest 25, or even because there was a yesterday, yeah, the move here, we hit this demand, but we never retest the bottom of this demand from the hourly over here, and that's the psychological 12 level. And as a reminder, we do have some option expiration around this level as well. So from the conservative perspective, anything in between 25 and 11.85 as a possible demand, right? Sellers, supply, psychological 113 and pre-ECB high. So that's how it looks from the euro-dollar perspective. And just few words about the USD CAD. It looks not bad, all right? What happened? Especially that we have the positive sentiment during the Tokyo. It might be a continuation over the course of European session. Anyway, right now we are trapped a bit. Possible supply around 34.45, 34.65, and we hit that supply last week. What we've seen is a bit of profit taking, right? And retest of this previous demand. We may change it. Now it's a better, all right? So from the bull's perspective, it might be the case of some kind of the, let's say, flag and continuation to the upside. So if 34, 45, 65, if this possible supply give up, we may see 35, 65 and above, right? This top supply over here, okay? On the other hand, sellers, if they are gonna take over here, right, we need to see daily close below 33.40, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to trade the range, trying to sell within this possible supply around the based on the daily chart, right? And looking for profit taking around 33.40 And on the other hand, if we are going to see these levels and some signs that we are going to trying to get back higher, that might be some opportunity to try to trade alongside on the Canadian dollar. So let's have a look how it looks on a smaller time frame. On the hourly, I know it might looks like head and shoulders formation. I would be very careful because it's the first one. Usually in that case it might end up as a left shoulder, so there is a possibility we are gonna, within the time, we are gonna to see higher levels. But anyway, what I'm gonna to look for with tight stops, trying to sell, or different way, trying to fade in case we are gonna to see Riley. So what I'm gonna to look for, yesterday high, attempt to take it out, fade, and I may try to join this move finally, trying to break through 34 towards 33.40, what we discussed, right? If that's not gonna happen, if we are gonna to be strong here and see the higher levels, right, then I may try to use yesterday high, yesterday daily open as the opportunity to see the higher levels, all right? But because of this positive sentiment right now, Nikkei closed higher, looks like a risk on, at least for now. The basic scenario is trying to sell around yesterday high, but first I need to see the fade right around 34.40. It's not the blindly selling stuff. And Aussie, which is not included in the dollar basket, just bear in mind, it sometimes can be used as a hedge, so it's quite important here to remember about that. And yeah, looking good, I have to say. For the last few weeks I have not been huge fan of the long side here, but looks like, taking into the consideration this white red zone, that's the possible demand from the monthly chart, taking into the consideration this price action from the very beginning of the year with this long lower shadow, all right, we might see some squeeze towards 75. So in that case, as long as we are above the psychological 70, 69, 80 based on the daily weekly chart, that might be opportunity for bulls to try to squeeze the weakest shorts. All right, that's it from me today. Now, small update. Next meeting tomorrow, 8 a.m. CET morning, London preview, and then tomorrow afternoon we are going to have or we are going to cover New York session as well. So be careful today, don't be trapped. Let's have a nice day and have a possibility to meet tomorrow. Have a good day today, guys. Take care. See you.
It'd be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.